Did you know that in 2025, some of America's closest allies are quietly stepping away? For decades, the United States was seen as the backbone of global security, trade, and diplomacy. But under Donald Trump's second term, shocking policies, tariffs, and ultimatums are causing alliances to fracture like never before. Billions in trade are at risk, defense pacts are being questioned, and trust is fading fast. Stay with us until the very end, because number 1 on this list will leave you speechless. Number 10. Canada. For over a century, Canada has been America's most dependable partner, sharing borders, trade, and defense through NORAD and NATO. But in 2025, things are shifting. Trump's administration recently imposed $17 billion in tariffs on Canadian aluminum, lumber, and agricultural goods, accusing Ottawa of taking advantage of America. In response, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau signed a new trade agreement with the European Union in March 2025, bypassing Washington's influence. Canada is also strengthening ties with Asian economies through the CPTPP, signaling that while geography makes them neighbors, policy disagreements are pushing them apart. Number 9. Germany. Germany has long been the economic engine of Europe and a cornerstone of NATO. But in February 2025, Trump reignited tensions by demanding NATO countries spend 5% of GDP on defense, far above the already controversial 2% threshold. Germany, struggling with high energy costs and a slowing economy, called the demand unrealistic and hostile. Berlin has since expanded military cooperation with France and Poland, while quietly opening dialogue with China for energy and trade. German officials say the US has become an unreliable partner under Trump's leadership. That's a shocking statement, considering the US once guaranteed Europe's post-war stability. Number 8. South Korea. For decades, US troops stationed in South Korea were seen as a symbol of protection against North Korea. But in early 2025, Trump threatened to withdraw 28,000 US troops unless Seoul paid double the current $1.20 billion annual cost. South Korea refused, calling the demand extortion. In April 2025, South Korea signed a historic defense cooperation deal with Japan, something unthinkable just a few years ago due to deep historical tensions. Both countries now share intelligence and joint naval patrols, reducing reliance on Washington. Analysts warn, if US troops pull out, Seoul may even consider accelerating its own nuclear program, a drastic move that shows how far this alliance is slipping. Number 7. Mexico. Mexico, America's southern neighbor, is also cooling relations. Trump's renewed focus on building more wall sections and imposing strict remittance taxes in 2025 has inflamed tensions. The Mexican government called these measures an insult to sovereignty. At the same time, Mexico has been deepening its energy partnerships with Brazil and Argentina, and in trade, leaning closer to China's Belt and Road Initiative. The once closely tied USMCA trade bloc is now under pressure, as Mexico explores alternatives. For everyday Mexicans, Trump's immigration crackdowns and visa restrictions have only added fuel to the fire. Number 6. France. France is no stranger to clashing with Washington, but in 2025, relations are hitting a low point. Trump's administration recently froze $2.5 billion worth of joint climate projects, accusing France of pushing globalist nonsense. French President Emmanuel Macron fired back, saying Europe can no longer rely on America for leadership. France has since taken the lead in forming a European Security Council, designed to act independently of NATO. French companies are also redirecting investments away from US markets after Trump threatened 25% tariffs on European wine and luxury goods. The French-American friendship is not dead, but the trust that once defined it is eroding fast. Number 5. Japan. Japan's alliance with the US was once described as unshakable, but Trump's 2025 policies are testing that. Demands that Tokyo triple its payments for US bases sparked outrage in Japan's parliament. At the same time, Washington's tariffs on Japanese cars and electronics, worth $20 billion, are fueling resentment. Instead of folding, Japan has turned east. In March 2025, Tokyo finalized a free trade pact with India and Australia, strengthening its role in the Indo-Pacific without US oversight. Japan's leaders have even hinted that they're prepared to defend their interests, with or without America. That's a chilling sign of where this partnership is headed. Number 4. United Kingdom. America's so-called special relationship with the UK is also showing cracks. While London supported Washington in past conflicts, things are different in 2025. Trump's administration slapped tariffs on British steel and pulled out of a joint cybersecurity pact after accusing the UK of being too soft on China. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer has since accelerated talks with the European Union for reintegration, signaling that London may shift its focus back to Europe rather than Washington. Intelligence cooperation still exists through Five Eyes, but experts say the trust is weakening. For the first time in decades, Britain seems ready to walk its own path. Australia ranks as the third entry on our list. Australia has long depended on US military power in the Pacific. But in 2025, tensions are flaring. Trump's administration cut funding to the AUKUS submarine deal, saying Australia must pay more of the costs. Canberra called this move a betrayal. Australia has since expanded defense cooperation with India and is deepening ties with Southeast Asia. Economically, China remains Australia's biggest trading partner, something Trump has criticized heavily. But with Washington pulling back, Canberra seems less willing to follow America's lead blindly. For Australians, the message is clear: America may no longer be the only option. Number 2. Ukraine. Ukraine, once the center of US support against Russia, is now feeling abandoned. In early 2025, Trump froze $13.5 billion in military aid, demanding that Kyiv negotiate peace with Moscow. This left Ukraine vulnerable, with reports of Russian advances in eastern regions. In desperation, Ukraine has turned to Poland, the EU, and NATO's European members for urgent support. President Volodymyr Zelensky called America's withdrawal a dangerous signal to the world. For Ukrainians, who relied heavily on US weapons and funding, this sudden policy shift is nothing short of devastating. Number 1. NATO, collective alliance. The biggest alliance moving away is not just one country, it's NATO itself. In 2025, Trump once again threatened to withdraw the US from NATO unless all members meet his new 5% defense spending demand. Leaders across Europe see this as an ultimatum, not a partnership. As a result, NATO countries are now quietly preparing for a post-American defense era. Germany and France are pushing for a European army, while Poland and the Baltics are increasing their own military cooperation. NATO without America would be unthinkable just a decade ago. Yet in 2025, that possibility is becoming frighteningly real. So there you have it, 10 alliances once thought unbreakable, now drifting away because of Trump's shocking policies. From Canada to NATO itself, the US is facing a historic shift in global trust. The world is watching closely, and the question is clear: if America pushes away its friends, who will stand by its side in the years to come? What do you think? Are these alliances gone for good, or can they be repaired? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more updates on America's global crisis. Because one thing is certain, in 2025, history is being rewritten before our eyes.